Yo, 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 what's going on, everybody? My name is Rob Carmona, and welcome back to another episode of Rob the Mic. I know the setup is a little bit different today, so we had some technical difficulties, and I'm trying to roll with the punches as best as I can. So I ended up doing an update on my casting software, and it seems to have wreaked absolute havoc on my entire setup. So it didn't want to read my camera. I was fixing it or trying to fix it for about 2 hours. Ended up giving up trying to find different ways to do it, and turns out that I can actually cast from my phone. So let me know what you guys think of this setup, because based on, like, let's say I'm in like a mobile setting or I'm out and about and I want to do a podcast or want to catch some sort of recording, it looks like I can, which is kind of cool. So if you guys are okay with this setup, leave a comment below, shoot me a message, let me know what's up, let me know what you think, because this is different. It's the first time I've done this kind of setup. I don't know how it's going to go. Microphone wise, it's the exact same, so that's not changing, but camera wise, it's a little bit different. So let me know what you guys think. So for today's episode, I was trying to think of, as I do every week, right? Like what am I going to piggyback off of? What's going to crawl into this episode? But I couldn't necessarily think of anything aside from everything that I've been enduring or everything that I've kind of had to go through in the last couple of days. So what I wanted to do is dedicate this episode to a buddy of mine, which is Noe Waxer, and a friend of a friend, which is Ronnie, which is Albert's buddy that just passed. And the reason why I want to dedicate it to them is because I feel like in the last week specifically, they've been the heaviest thing on my mind and on people's minds around me. So what I wanted to do is just kind of dive into my experience, how everything went last week, what it did for me in like both positive and negative ways, right? Like I think you're going to go through all these different motions when you're going to funerals, when you're preparing for those things. And I think with the amount of funerals that I've attended in the last few months, like it never gets easier, but I think it's really important to talk about it. And as much as I have talked about it with people around me, I think it's better to do it in a setting like this, because I don't think everyone gets or understands what the experience can be and what it can do for you. And in reality, the experience going to Waxer's funeral was not necessarily fully negative. Like it was really sad, but there was a lot of positives that came from it. And I think it's really important to talk about, because again, once you get to a certain point, you start to realize I have to change up my mindset. I can't just be sad and be depressed. Like I have to find something good about the moments that I'm in. And to be honest with you guys, there was a lot of really amazing positive moments. And I think it's worth talking about. I think it's important. And again, I think devoting some time to people who are as important as these people were in our lives, it's the least that we can do. Because I think we're, each and every single one of us who are listening and or watching this right now, we were fortunate enough to get up today. And I find myself, like, when people ask me how I'm doing or how's it going, I'm like, I woke up today. And most people, almost every single time, they're like, you know what? You're right. That's a really good point. Because again, I think what I've endured and what I've had to process, waking up and getting up every single day, is more than enough to be thankful for. More than enough to be thankful for. The fact that I can still breathe on my own, I can still walk on my own, I can still, call people that I care for, I can still navigate my life as best as I can each and every single day. I think that's something to just sit and be grateful for. So, and of course, with this week coming up to Thanksgiving, and granted, I know, controversial holiday, but I think if you pull away from what we were taught when we were kids, right? I think the idea of just kind of being thankful and being with the people that you love and showing them that you care, showing yourself that you care, this is a perfect time to kind of go through this, right? Because we're going to be in a period of reflection. I think from now up until New Year's, for a lot of people, it's a time to sit back and say, okay, what am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? Who are these people in my life? Why are they in my life? What do they bring to my table? And so on and so forth. So I think with all of this being said, in my eyes, this was the best way to navigate this episode. So again, I'm dedicating this episode to Waxer, to Ronnie. May they rest. And let's jump right into it, So what I wanted to start with was literally like a step by step. So that morning when I woke up for Waxer's funeral last Thursday, I had tried to do some mental preparations that Wednesday. I tried to do some like meditation and kind of get into it. And it helped a lot, honestly, for the following morning, because I was trying so hard to not be in a rush, and I ended up kind of rushing, but it ended up working out, thankfully. But it didn't really hit me until I got to the actual, like, to the cemetery. So when I was getting ready, it just felt like I was just trying to hurry, trying to get stuff done, trying to just get there, right? And then at the time, the 10 freeway was still closed because of the fire that we just had. I was trying to make my way over to a meetup spot, and I was trying to meet up with one of Noe's buddies by the name of Raya, he's a part of like a motorcycle club. So I was going to meet up with them. And I mean, I had no idea who was going to go, because I've never like really formally been with these guys and like met with these guys. So I didn't message them. I didn't anything. I saw the address of where they were going to meet up. And I said, you know what? Just go. Like, just go. Just show up. Right? Because we're all going there for the same reason. It's this one mutual person that we all care about who's passed. So ultimately, like, why can't we all be together, you know? So I went, pulled up to the spot, and I ended up taking my car that day. I know I had told you guys, depending on the weather and what was going to go down, I maybe was going to take the Q or my truck. I ended up taking the Q, which, since I purchased the Q, I'd say it's one of the longer drives that the car's been on. So heading up to the valley is definitely a lengthy one. And honestly, it's not even so much the time, but it's just the freeways, because the freeways are so bad heading up there. So me taking that car, it's always really risky. Like, I always have to pay attention, which from a lot of you guys who listen to the show or watch the show, who come from stance, like, you understand what the stress is, especially of having a static car. And if you have a certain stretch on your wheels and so on and so forth, because again, freeways can wreak havoc on your car. It just takes one good dip, one good crack in the pavement, and you're done. It'll take you out. Right. And then for us, on top of that, getting a tow truck situation, it's always a hassle. No one wants to deal with it. No one wants to touch the car. And it's just, I don't know. Was I stressed? Yes. But at the same time, I wasn't really thinking about it, because I was so focused on getting to this place to do this thing. And it helped distract me just from the drive and kind of everything about it. So when I got there, when I pulled up, it was dope, because I ended up being the only car that showed up. Everybody else, it was all bikes. So it's probably about 25 bikes, maybe a little bit more. I'd say about 25 bikes. So when I pulled into the gas station, it was dope, because I mean, there was enough, it was wide enough for me to just kind of like send it up the driveway. So when I ended up going, I sent it up, and then the gas caps that they have in the ground, like where the guys basically pull them up and they put the gas into the ground, those caps were a little bit raised. So I ended up driving over them, because I couldn't slow down. I was like, if I slow down, I'm going to get stuck. And I just dragged ass, like going into the gas station, going around. I'm like, oh my God, dude. Like, I don't know any of these guys. And then here I am pulling up like a scumbag. But it was dope, because once they saw the banner on my back window, they're like, oh, dude. Yeah. And I know a few of them had seen the pictures that like Adrian had been posting, that I had been posting. So just certain things have been circulating about the car regarding the banner. And like even from like Danger's page and stuff like that. So Raya came up to me, he was the first person to come up, introduced himself, and was just like, dude, this is sick. Like, thank you for being here. I'm like, bro, thank you for hosting this. Like, for having a meetup first, and the fact that we're all going to roll over there together, you know? So when we get ready to head out, it hits me. I'm like, damn, like I'm about to roll with all these guys. And it was, that entire experience was really, really sick, which I know for some of you guys who've seen like any sort of biker club rolling on the freeway, they roll a certain way. They're in like a single file line, sometimes split, depending on whatever the situation is. They have their ways of riding. So it was 2 lanes of just straight bikes and then me in the back. So it was dope to kind of be a part of something like that, and to roll, and just to feel a part of something bigger than myself, right? Because we were all there for the same reason, and they didn't hesitate, not even a second, to bring me in and make me feel as if I was family. Like I've always been there, because I was there for one of their brothers. And they're like, if you're here for him, you're good with us type of situation. So shouts to Raya and all the guys that made me feel a part of something and that welcomed me and that let me roll with them on the freeway, because they honestly didn't have to do that. They could have just stayed to themselves, didn't introduce themselves, and just kind of been like, well, he can just like, not like fuck off, but like he can go do his own thing, you know? But they didn't. They took me in, and I'm really appreciative of that. And honestly, just establishing that connection too, because Rye is a really, really great guy. And I mean, all the guys that I met, every single one of the guys are all incredible people. So shouts to them. Shouts to that entire club. But rolling over to them felt surreal, because we were going somewhere, like not like to celebrate, but it was going to be something really heavy. It was going to be something really sad. And a really cool moment too was when we pulled in and the guys were parking. They parked all right in front of the, I guess you can say like where the chapel area is at. So they parked right outside. And when I was driving forward, I saw Danger walking towards the car. Like she was walking towards the chapel, and she had like a giant painting of Waxer. Well, it was like a picture that they had done like an art piece on. So I got to see her really quick and just, hey, like I'm here. And I was trying to think about where to park, and I was looking at the parking lot, but then I looked like slightly to my left and I saw all of Genocide like parked up along the side. And I was like, you know what, dude, I'm going to go park with them. So of course I didn't try to go ahead. I didn't, try to park across from them, nothing. Like I stayed in line, parked in the back, and it was a surreal experience to kind of be with a club that I have so much love for and that I look up to and just have a ton of respect for, and that I hope to one day like reach that level of building and like understanding. And honestly, I think it's just the club in itself. Like I have so much love for that specific club. So getting to park and be in their presence for me as an automotive builder, as an enthusiast, it means a lot. It means a lot. So, and again, we're all there for a mutual person. And it was dope for the guys who haven't seen my car, because I mean, it's a completely different style car. Like I don't have a lowrider. I have a completely Japanese style BIP inspired build, and it's different. It's not a lowrider. It's not a classic. It's not on hydros. It's not, you know what I mean? Like the way it parks is the way it drives. It's just something completely different. But the love that people had for the car that day, and especially that back window with the banner, it was dope to be welcomed like that and to be accepted into something that, again, I have so much love and respect for. But it's like I'm trying to think of even where to like navigate it from here, because I'm trying to walk you guys through my emotions, through all kinds of things. I think even as I'm talking about it right now, I'm kind of like reliving it. So it just feels a little weird. But what was cool is once I got out and I walked up and down to go look at the cars and just saw the club, I was going back to my car, and Adrian ended up pulling up, Almazan. And it was great to see him, first off, because I didn't know what time he was going to get there. I didn't know what the situation was. I just knew that he was going to go. So I ended up meeting up with him and his girl. Great to see them. And then once it started to get closer to the service time, I ended up running into Joe and Gerson from Genocide. And shouts to them, because they're the first people that I've even had any sort of like real interaction with on the Genocide side, beside Waxer himself and Danger. But dude, those guys are incredible. Their cars are really sick, and just as people, like they're really fucking great people. So I have a lot of love for them as well. And it was sad just to kind of give them a hug and just be like, dude, like I'm here. I know everyone's telling you guys the same thing, and I don't have anything to say to you guys except for I'm here. So when you look over your shoulder, there's another person. I know you got all your brothers here, and I know everyone's here to stand behind you, but I'm also consider me one of those people that's standing right here behind you, right next to you, right wherever you need me to be. That's where I'm gonna be, But once we got inside to the chapel, I think that's kind of when it started to like set in, because I was like, damn, dude, another one, another funeral. And you start to think about all the other ones you've gone to, how you feel. It kind of puts you back in that headspace. It puts you back in this like really weird. it's like teleporting. You go right back to how you felt. You're like, this is too familiar. And that's the thing. Like, it was too familiar, and I felt comfortable with how familiar it was. And that's what really bothered me. So I started to get like a little uncomfortable, and I started to feel honestly, I started to feel a little bit claustrophobic, because the chapel was a little bit small, but I think when my head was racing, my heart was racing, I started to feel a little bit like just kind of caged in. When I looked back, there was a ton of people, just a ton of people that didn't get to sit down. They didn't, you know what I mean? They didn't get there in time to get a seat on the pews, but they were just kind of standing all in the back, all in the hallway. And I was just like, fuck, man, like it felt like too much. You know, even talking about it right now, like my chest got a little bit tight, but it was wild, really, really wild. And it was unbelievable, like flooring to see the coffin for the first time, because I know for those of you guys who follow my personal page on Instagram, I was sharing a bunch of photos there of some pictures that Adrian had took. And there's another photographer as well who had shot it like professionally, but I really love the photos that Adrian shot of his coffin, because they were able to shoot it with Waxer's car. And it was the weirdest thing, because it's like, it was incredible to see a piece of art like that in person, because it's a piece of art. For those of you who saw the photos, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you don't, you know what? I can actually post some of the photos here. So what I'll do is I'll insert a little montage of the photos that Adrian took. And just, it was amazing seeing something like that. But at the same time, it's like the guy that I looked up to and that I cared for is laying in that box. And I think once that moment, not that it didn't hit me, but once it set in, I was just like, fuck, dude, this is too real. It's too real. And when I looked over at like basically the double doors that they had, that they were going to walk, basically where everyone like proceeds in from, you know, when they were covering the casket in like this white sheet, like when because they were going to do like blessings and all that stuff. I think then I was like, oh man, like I don't want to be here, you know, like it's another funeral, another situation like this. But so it was this very weird moment to experience just being like in awe and like, this is incredible, this is amazing, but at the same time feeling terribly sad. And again, understanding and feeling these emotions all over again at this point for the fourth time. So I just kind of had to sit in it for a minute. But once the ceremony or the mass started, I was able to kind of slow down, find some peace. And I'm glad that I did, because I don't know, like if I didn't kind of bring myself down, I don't know what I would have done. But I kind of sat there with my head down for a lot of it and just was just thinking and just reflecting and trying to be patient with myself. And once I was able to find a ground zero, like it felt really good. So I'm really thankful to have experienced that, you know? And once we went outside and we were going over basically to where he was going to be laid to rest, that's when I was able to see how many people were there. And I kid you not, there must have been a minimum of like 100 people that showed up. Car wise, there was probably at least like minimum, maybe like 30 cars. Bikes, there was probably like the same. And then that's just like, I'm talking about like lowriders for cars. And so you figure that many cars already, that's a ton of people. The bikes, a ton of people. Some of the cars and bikes had 2 people. And then that's aside from everybody else that was outside of that showed up. So it was a sea of people. And the fact that we were all there for this one person was kind of phenomenal. It really was. It was jarring, but in the best way. And, seeing homies walking around with their cameras trying to capture these things, some of the photos that got produced from this event were, it's hard to not look at these things and not just like absolutely break down. Because again, some of the photos that were captured from this thing were like beyond me. Absolutely incredible. So, I mean, shouts to JP, shouts to Adrian, because I know their photos, they're some of the ones that immediately come to mind just because that's how struck I was by their photos, and the photos that I posted of theirs, everyone that saw them reacted pretty much the same way. They're like, dude, this is so sad, but it's so beautiful at the same time. I said, yeah, man, these guys really captured emotions like no other. They caught these moments of embrace. They caught these moments of just pure sadness. And there's something so beautiful about being able to witness it that way and create something from it. Because at the end of the day, I think especially for Noe, he was a creative. He was a creative mind. He was exploratory. He did all kinds of mediums, different things. He made knives, took photos, was building a car, like it just all kinds of stuff. He's super creative, super, super creative. So I think for these guys to be out here and creating media and creating something from what is happening, I know that he's proud of that. Like, I know for a fact that he's like, damn, dude. Like, my boys are out here doing it. And what more could you ask for, right? Like, you're sharing these pieces with the world to show people like, yo, this is how much we care. And this is just like a drop so that you guys can see, so you can understand, just have an insight into how much we cared about this person and how much this person meant to the community as a whole. So just kind of being there, I was with Adrian for that part of the ceremony for the rest of the afternoon. Well, at least like for that time there, we were at the cemetery. Everyone we stayed. Every single person, we all stayed until he was fully laid to rest. They dropped him down, covered up with soil, like everything, till we saw he was resting. Everything leading up to that. Again, there's like images that are like burned into my mind, like watching his boys, like how they were when the casket was sitting there before he was dropped in, seeing how everybody was reacting, people who were going up to the casket and like leaving little recuerdos, or like, the guys tying their gloves, leaving certain genocide pieces, leaving, throwing a sticker on there if they had one, seeing his mom. I think that wrecked me the most. I think with most of us, you see a parent kind of reacting a certain way, you're going to kind of lose it, right? And I think seeing his mom just kind of hold on to the casket and just not wanting to let go, that was absolutely, I don't even have words for it. It was just wild to take in, wild to see, because it made me think about funerals that I've attended. It made me think about my grandma with my uncle, and just like not wanting to leave him at the hospital even after he passed. So it's just, I don't know. It's hard to process. It's really hard to process. It's hard to think about. It's hard to kind of relive that. Because again, even as I'm talking to you guys, I'm like reliving it. Like, I feel like I'm back there. Like I remember what the grass felt like all of it, every single part of it. But at the same time, again, there was a lot of beauty that came from this, because when we were all leaving, the guys were heading out, and I didn't expect to go anywhere after. I didn't expect to be invited to anything, to be asked to attend, because the way I saw it, I had gone to his service, and that's what I really wanted to attend. That's what I wanted to go to. And that's it. Like, I felt good. I felt completed. Like, I felt like I had done exactly what I needed to do. And I know I've been talking to you guys a lot about like doing stuff that makes me happy and trying to prioritize that. And this honestly made me really happy. And I was like, because I had prioritized that, I was already like, cool, check, done for the day. I'm done. I don't need anything else. So I went to go say bye to Danger, because everyone, of course, it had been really busy. She's having to talk to 100 people, you know what I mean? So I went to go say bye and just give her a hug. And I'm like, dude, this is wild. Like, I can't believe this is actually happening type of situation. So I was saying bye. And she's like, hey, you're going to come with us? Like, to chill after? I was like, nah, dude. Like, I'm assuming that's just like for you guys, close family, friends type of situation. I was like, I'm going to head back. She's like, nah, dude. Like, trust, come through, kick back with us. I was like, all right. How am I going to say no to that? How people that I love, care for, that are asking me to be somewhere, of course I'm going to be there. So I rolled over there, took my car, same thing, best situation car wise. All the guys are outside. Everyone had just kind of got there. I get there shortly after, completely drag ass going in there. So it's like, they're like, dude, this guy's here, But I think, again, just that entire afternoon, like what ended up happening was like something absolutely amazing. And I mean, I owe it to Waxer. I owe it to everybody that's around there that made me feel as if I was family and that didn't hesitate to make me feel that way. People that took me in right away and were like, yo, we don't know you. We've seen you or we've seen your car, but what's up? Let's get to know each other. Let's crack a beer and let's chill. And sure enough, it started. Once I got the car set up, I walked around, did a little walk around really quick. I didn't know who was all there, but I saw obviously all the genocide guys. And I started talking to people. Because again, I'm like, what are you going to do? You're going to sit here by yourself? You're going to put yourself out there. You're going to get out of your comfort zone a little bit. And I've been trying to also do that too. So I think sometimes that's where you find exactly what you need, is when you get out of your comfort zone. And once I got out of that, that's exactly what sparked the rest of the night. So I had shot this guy's truck, this guy David from Los Coyotes. I have it on my page. It's like a patinaed green truck, kind of like it has like a greenish hue, but it has like a fully paneled roof. He has really badass like wood planks in the trunk. For those of you guys who have seen those pictures on my page, I'm sure you know what truck I'm talking about. It's also the same photo set that has like over the steering wheel, there's a jacket that says Los Coyotes. So his is the truck that was there, like close to where I parked. So I started talking to him. I also met Angel, whose family is of danger. And he had a really badass lowrider, and he's from Wilmington, which is really cool. So the fact that I got to meet somebody local was rad. He's a really, really great guy. But when I walked over to David and I was like, hey, dude, I recently posted pictures of your truck. Like, it's really cool to see it here in person. And once we started connecting the dots, he's like, oh, dude, that's you for sure. So he introduced me to the rest of the Coyotes that were there and was like, yo, bro, you want a beer? I said, yeah, let's run it up. From that point forward, everything was just like, it just ramped up. The laughs, the memories, the talks, like everything was amazing to be with every single one of those people. And like David also introduced me to one of his buddies, Grim. And Grim and I hit it off right away, as he's just like, he's this super wild, like far out cat that it's hard to not love him. Like he has so much good inside of him. Like he has so much positive, so much love, so much everything that is good in this world to exert. And we needed him that day. And I think everyone who got to experience him, it was amazing. Because he was out there having drinks and he'd start dancing and just everybody was laughing. And it's like, dude, this is what it's about. As much as we're here to mourn somebody that we cared for, we're also here to celebrate their life. And this guy's a part of the celebration. He's here to remind us, like, this is what it's about. And somehow, in this really weird way, we all came together for Waxer. People that didn't know each other, people that didn't, again, I didn't know a lot of the people because I'm still branching out into this world. As much as I love it, like I try to be active in it as much as possible, but this kind of set me on a different trajectory into that world. And I'm really thankful for every single person that made sure, again, that I felt like I was at home, like I was a part of something bigger than myself. So, once again, with David, Grim, Angel, Bams and his wife. Bams is one of the members from Genocide. Primo, like the rest of the guys from Genocide, like everybody that I got to cross paths and shake hands with, these people are literally phenomenal people. And just, I had this moment where I was looking around and I realized that this is exactly where I was supposed to be, because I was kind of apprehensive on going, right? Because I was like, I don't want to feel super out of place, but it's like, this isn't about me. It's not about my feelings. It's not about my being uncomfortable. It's about being there for somebody that I care for. So again, put yourself out of your comfort zone and then see where it takes you. And it took me somewhere amazing. So when I realized that this is exactly where I was supposed to be, I think on the drive home, I felt even more complete than after the ceremony. So as much as the day wasn't about me, I was able to take something for me that is specifically and was only for me, which was that I got to experience what I got to experience. And that because of Waxer, I made and established these new connections that, for all I know, I'll probably have for the rest of my life. And I'm really thankful for that. Really, really thankful. And I know I keep repeating myself as far as like being thankful and things being incredible and all this, but I don't have any other words. It just, that's what it is. That's what it was. And from here on out, the memories that are going to be created, I think are all going to fall in line, and they're all because of this domino effect that was started because of Waxer. As much as I would want him here and to cross paths with him more and to laugh with him and talk about work and stuff, this is where we are. And I'm going to do that with everybody else that I come across. So just all of that was something so mind-blowing, eye-opening, heart, soul-opening. I couldn't have asked for a more beautiful day to celebrate someone that I cared for, someone that I looked up to, and someone that all of these people loved and cared for and looked up to as well. Because that man really had a way of making an impact. And at his memorial in Long Beach, I remember talking with Danger for a while, and she goes, one of his goals was just, he wanted his name everywhere. He just wanted to be everywhere. He wanted people to talk about him, like just to see Waxer everywhere. And the wildest thing is that's what was happening. And that's what is happening. We all have him with us. We have it, I have it on my truck. I have WFFW on my truck. I have it blasted on my car on the back of the queue. It's on my Instagram profile. That's all of us. We all have pieces with him that we carry everywhere that we go to show the world, like, yo, Waxer forever. So again, as tragic as this whole thing is, there's something really beautiful about it, because a dream is a dream regardless of how certain things play out. And this plays out this way. We're supposed to carry on this legacy. We're supposed to carry on something for someone. And that's what we're all doing. That's why I think we all go so hard for it right now, because it's just a part of what we're doing. It's a part of life now. This is it. Wherever we go, it's Waxer forever. And it's tight. It's really tight. And I know that he's resting, and I know that he's watching over every single one of us to make sure that we're good, to make sure that things don't get too hectic, And that Friday, the Friday after, right? So the next day, I took a lot of the day. I had some plans, I had some things going on. I ended up canceling everything, and I just wanted to just kind of reflect and sit with everything that had gone down. And I told myself, I took a bunch of pictures, and I didn't know if I was going to post them or what I was going to do or how I was going to do it. But when I was forming the post, and I ended up just kind of putting everything up and put it up on my stories and stuff like that, I didn't realize the amount of love that it was going to get, and reactions and just conversations that it would start, because that was something really great too. And again, a domino effect because of the situation. I ended up talking with, because of these postings, like the conversations that were started and had between JP and myself, which is, his name is JP Person. If you guys want to check out his Instagram, it's JP_11S. Again, that's JP_11S. I posted a bunch of his photos. I had posted some of his photos the other day as well, of like just Waxer by himself on his bike. So I'll be posting more of his work tomorrow, because it'll be a week. So I just kind of want to do like a little recap and do something like dedicating to him. But the conversations that were had with him, with Bams, like from Genocide, again, it was all because of this. So again, these connections, all these things are all because of this. And I'm really looking forward to the memories that are going to be made as the time passes, as things keep coming, as events keep coming, as we get together for beers, as we get together for food, whatever. Because I know a lot of these guys, it's just, when you feel it, you're just like, damn, dude, this is like some lifer type shit. So I couldn't have asked for anything more beautiful and to experience that after. So I'm really thankful for all these guys, for everyone that gave love to those photos and that really understood, like, yo, man, this guy was really important. I might not know this person to you, but it seems like with what you're posting and what you're talking about and the way you talk about him and the way that your friends talk about him, this guy really meant something. And, he means something. He still means something to all of us. So very grateful, very appreciative. And I think coming into Saturday was a tough one because Albert and I had been talking and we were going to spend the day. So we still ended up doing that. I got to his spot, settled in, made a drink, sit on the couch, and we just started. We started talking about Ronnie and, how he's feeling, how Albert's feeling about Ronnie, and just talking about him going through memories, talking about photos, talking about situations, busting up, laughing. And we had our moments where, of course, we're sitting there in tears. But, Albert had a moment where he's like, hey, I need to go order some flowers for Ronnie. I said, okay. It's like, let's roll. I said, let's roll. And for myself, I really love flowers. I love them. I love just the artistry of them. I love the stories you can tell, the way you can make people feel with different flowers, and you can invoke all these emotions. And I think being a part of that process, as much as I told Albert, thank you for allowing me to be a part of it, I'll tell him again right now. Like, I'm really appreciative and thankful to have been a part of that and to give Ronnie something that he deserves, something beautiful, right? So once we set everything up, we go through with the florist, set up his arrangement, and we ended up making some other arrangements for his mom, for Ronnie's mom and his wife. And those came out beautiful. Shouts to the flower shop for doing those. But it was really cool to, again, walk through, make sure, and like, hey, I want this flower, I want this flower, I want this flower, I want them arranged, so on and so forth. Because, again, there's only so much that I can do. Because Ronnie, I personally was not close to Ronnie, but my best friend, who I consider my brother, Albert, it was his closest friend. So would I hear about Ronnie a lot? All the time, for sure. Was he talked about a lot? Yes, for sure. And so it felt like, to a certain extent, I'm like, dude, like, I lost somebody too, because that's my boy's boy. And like, it's almost like the Waxer situation. Like, dude, if you're my boy's boy, we fuck with you too. So in this situation, so I'm saying, like, I felt like, even though I don't feel the same amount of pain that Albert does, it's like, I'm still, like, it's still sad. Like, it's, you mourn a loss. Somebody who was really doing something, who had all these aspirations and dreams, was making it happen. He was an insanely talented chef, insanely talented, and involved in these restaurants and in these projects, in Riverside and out in San Bernardino, that were really shifting things and starting to shake things up in the heaviest way possible. My boy was having articles written about him. He had collaborations with certain brands, with knives and things like that. And he was doing it. He was really doing it. And I think once we kind of sat in it, as sad as we were, once we got back from ordering the flowers, we kept the conversation going. And I remember telling Albert, how important it is to let yourself feel the emotions and talk about them, so that we can allow space for positive things. Because not that we want to forget about what we feel and forget about how things make us feel, but it is important to sit in it. Let's be sad. Let's feel this. Let's talk about him. Let these emotions out. Because once we process these things, and the more that we feel them, we can allow space for light to come inside, because it feels really dark right now. And it's a part of what we have to do. We have to go through darkness in order to receive some sort of light, to find some sort of light. So even the next day, because he was going to go see Ronnie's parents, even in that situation, he was able to receive some light. And I don't know if it's because of Saturday. Maybe that helped a little bit with just like the process of us talking and just kind of going through it. But he was able to let in some light. And that light ended up being something really beautiful, like to come to see his family and just kind of have those sorts of interactions and things like that. So, I mean, I'm really proud of him. I'm really proud of Albert for doing what he's doing, for being there. And I mean, as much as you can allow so much, right, for positivity. There's only so much room you can kind of open up over time. And I think he's going to be dealing with this for a while, as most of us will be. Because this, for myself personally, this will have been my fifth death in the last few months. And it's wild, man, to look back on and see. And it doesn't matter what the reason is of like how these people passed or anything. It's the important factor is just that they're not here anymore, that they were there at one point and next thing you know, they're not. And we're having to live, breathe, and go through our lives now with one less person that we knew, one less person that we cared for. And I think we as people, again, need to allow ourselves to feel things, especially on the, like, speaking for men. I'm not trying to disregard anyone else who's listening or watching this podcast, but I do think for the male audience, because especially in the automotive realm and just within a lot of people that I know, everyone's very, very macho. It's like, don't show your feelings, don't show this, don't show that. This is a prime time to do that. Because when you don't do that and you push those things out, you're just hurting yourself. You're hurting the people around you. That's not how this shit works. You have to process your emotions. You have to feel what you feel. It's important to feel everything that you feel. If you're sad, be fucking sad. If you feel depressed, sit in it. Let it wash over you. Because again, once you feel those things, you allow room for something amazing to wash over you, something positive. You allow the light back into you. That I am a firm believer of, because I've been in these situations more often than not. And I'm not even just talking about death. I'm talking about everything that, for example, I've been dealing with on a personal standpoint. I have to sit in the moments where I feel sad, where I'm depressed, even if it's a day or two, however much time I need. There's no time limit. But I sit in it, because once I sit in it and I process it and I kind of just let it go over me, what comes after that is always very peaceful. It's very good. It feels calming. And that's what it is, right? It's the calm after the storm. We have to weather the storm in order to receive this calm that comes after the fact. And I also think that there's calm right before it too. So I think that's kind of it's a weird thing to like decipher between. But again, once you go through it, what comes after that is really something beautiful. But I know for a lot of people, it takes them different amounts of time. We all take the time that we need, right? And yesterday was Ronnie's viewing, and today he's being laid to rest. And I know, like, I'm wishing every ounce of love and strength to Albert, to Yessie, to everyone that is attending, Ronnie's family, extending all my love to them, because they're about to lay a friend, a brother, a son to rest. And I think coming up on Thanksgiving tomorrow, it's going to be extra rough, because it's a time to be together. It's a time to reunite. It's not necessarily that, again, you're celebrating Thanksgiving the way that, again, we were taught when we were kids, but it's that you use this time to be together as family, as friends, as just to unite, to share love, to share stories, to share laughter. And that there's going to be one less person sitting at each and every single table this year, right? From the uncles I have that have passed, Alfredo, Carlos, to my tia, one of my tias. It's like, I think about it. I think about it all across the board. I think about my cousins. I think about all those people that are just going to be looking and just being like, damn, nobody's there. There's one less chair, So that's why, like I had talked about, I posted up a reel, and it was talking about how this is a time of reflection. And I think it's really important that we need and have to reflect, count your blessings in a sense, just like, I'm still here. I'm still breathing. I'm all right. I got it. Got to keep moving. I got to keep messing with the people around me and keep it pushing. Keep it right. because that's what you're supposed to do here. That's our job, is to continue the memories, to continue the love, to continue the cycle in a positive way, because it's a gift. Every single day that you get up is a gift. But again, I'm wishing them all the love, all the strength today, because I know they're going to need it. They are going to need it. And they're going to need it tomorrow, as much as we're all going to need it tomorrow for everybody. I know Waxer's family, his friends, everybody, all of his brothers, everyone's going to need it. Danger, I can't imagine what she's feeling right now. And it just, even in this process, like I think about it, like with Ronnie, and I think about Ronnie's wife, the same way I thought about like Waxer and like his girl. And I think women who are put in these positions, it's wild, because I think women, the strength that they have is unbelievable. I think that's why there's so many things in this world I think that women are only capable of. And I think this sort of pain, this sort of thing that these women are going to be enduring, they're the only ones who can handle it. And as terrible as it is, this is the hand that they were dealt. And this is what they're going to play with. This is what they're going to the table with, right? And I know that they're going to win. I know Danger's going to come out on top. I know one day she's going to be all right. And same thing with Ronnie's wife. And it's the same thing with, with my family, the people who've lost the people that they love and they care for. I know each and every single one of their quote unquote person, right? That they're going to be okay. I think everyone who's kind of dealt these cards and having to go through these things, there's a reason for that. So, in honesty, it's hard to even talk about it, because I think that kind of goes in and starts this whole other conversation. I don't want to get too existential about it, but it's just, I think we go through certain things in our life. Like, not everyone is going to go through the same things that you do. So a lot of people will not understand the pain that you feel or anything like that. But I think those of us who are fortunate, in a sense, and I know fortunate might be a weird word to use, but hear me out, that we are fortunate enough to undergo something like these things that we're undergoing and experiencing. There's a reason for that. You're supposed to experience that, because maybe you're supposed to help somebody else, other people throughout your life that you're going to have to help to get through these situations. And I know for myself, I sit back and I look and I'm like, dude, 5. Again, this is a 5th. And as much as I sit in it and I'm like, I have this like a weird, how would you say it? Like a looming feeling where it's almost like a who's next type of situation. I really hope that nobody else goes, at least like not right now, because man, too much, it's too heavy. It's a little too heavy. It's actually a lot of too heavy. It's not a little bit, but we undergo these things for a reason. And I know I will help anybody that I can who is dealing with death, with loss, with depression, thoughts of suicide, anything like that. Like, I will help anyone who I can help. I will always extend my hands. I will always extend everything that I have, because of what I've seen, what I've endured. And I know that the people in my life also will probably do the same, who have endured something similar. Because I think that's your job from this point forward. I think that's a part of what your purpose is in life, is to help other people in those situations, because you've experienced it. And I was trying to think of like a bit of advice or like something, right? Same way, I know I say it every week, but the same way we close out every episode. And I say, just as it's very general, it's nothing crazy, it's nothing too deep, but I think take this time to be with the ones you love, and also take no shit. People want to come for you at the Thanksgiving event, at the Thanksgiving dinner. Let's get it. What's good? You tell me what's on your mind. You want to speak yourself? Cool, let's go. Let's run it up. Take no shit. Because life's too short. As much as life's about being with the ones that you love and the ones that you care for, when certain people come in and try and push your buttons, man, sometimes you got to just put them back in their place. Because I know, I'm waiting. It's like, I saw this meme a couple weeks ago. Shot me busting up. It was this dude. It was like a meme video thing. And he's like mixing his coffee. And he has earphones on. And he's like, I'm just waiting for somebody. Like, what did he say? I'm waiting for somebody to say something to see if I still got it. You know what I mean? And that's how I feel. I know that's how a lot of people feel right now, right? Like, we're just kind of like, ooh, just Push the button. Push the button. Let me see what's good. Just so I can see if I still got it. And that's for sure. Like, dude, I'm mega froggy right now. Like, just I'm chilling on edge. Like, what's up? What stupid shit are you gonna tell me so I could tell you what's good? You know? Like, I was even talking about that with Bams this morning because he had posted some tweets that this guy had done, and he was just like, dude, like bring chaos this Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? And I was like, yeah, bro, because some people, they just ask for it. And, when you stay quiet, you kind of enable that behavior. You make it seem like it's okay. But when you kind of tell people what's good and you put them in their place, they're like, hey, you know what? Next year, or you know what? From here on out, I'm not going to say stuff like that. I'm not going to ask those questions. I'm not going to be this type of person because you know what? There might be somebody like this fool that's going to come and put me in my place. Make sure and count my P's and Q's, cross my T's, dot my I's, all those things. Someone's going to be out here. And I'm like, yeah, you can bet your ass because for sure that's going to be me. For sure. Like, I'm not here to put up with shit. I'm not here to take shit. Like, I'm trying to eat. I'm trying to relax. I'm trying to chill. I'm trying to love the people that I'm around. I'm trying to make memories. That's it. If you can come and disrupt that, we're going to have a problem. For sure. I don't care. Anybody can get it. So, again, as much as I want you guys to take this time, be with the people that you love, form up new memories. And again, take all the photos. I know we talk about this. Take photos, take videos, take all the things. Make all the beautiful memories and record them. Record everything. Again, take no shit. Don't let anybody make you feel less than. Don't make anybody make you feel that you don't deserve love. You don't deserve to be somewhere. They're going to make you feel bad. No. Put those people in their place. Put those people in their place. That's your job. That's what you got to do. Stand up for yourself. Be a soldier for yourself, for the people around you, and do what you got to do. Handle the situation. And just know that if you feel like nobody supports you, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm telling you, looking at you. For those of you guys who are right here on YouTube, I know I can see you. Those of you guys who are listening to me, you don't get this part. But I'm telling you right now, I support you. I'm standing behind you. And also, shoot me a DM. If it gets crazy, you need to talk about it, or you need to, air out some laundry, hit up your boy. Hit me up on the podcast Instagram, on my Instagram. Shoot me a text, call me, whatever. Tell me what's up. And if you need backup, I'm on my way. But I appreciate you guys. I love you. I hope you have a beautiful holiday season. Celebrate, make all the memories. Again, record everything, take pictures of everything. And I will catch you guys next week.